Hello, and welcome, friends. Today, I'm back, man. I'm back. And today, I got some crazy updates for you. Just had to make the video. We just had no chance, no option to not do it. First thing I want to talk about is Joel Embiid. So, Ben Simmons got injured the other day. Doesn't look like it's a very serious injury, but he probably isn't going to be in a couple of games. That coupled with the fact that they have the next 3 games being fast-paced, well, maybe not the Magic, but their next 3 matchups are the Suns, the Magic, and the Blazers. Now, the Blazers obviously are trying to win every single game, especially with what's going on over there in the West, to get that 8th seed or at least be in a position to play in the playoff or whatever. So you know, as far as the Joel Embiid cards go, he is going to have no Ben Simmons. You know, he's definitely on a massive tear, and they're playing tonight against the Blazers, which is why I had to make this video right now for you guys. But I just wanted to let you know that there's some beef that goes back to 2017 between Joel Embiid and Yusuf Nurkic, which is interesting to me to even find that out. So again, I was looking up stats. I wanted to see which side we'd be on. Both players have been playing lights out. It matters for both teams. Joel Embiid is just, you know, big, crazy, beastly guy. He doesn't have Ben Simmons. He's going to put up 40 points and 40 rebounds. Nurkic is going to do the same thing. They're both going to have capes on. They're going to be flying around the arena. One's going to be Superman. One's going to be Bizarro. Who the hell knows? All I know is that I found some dirt, and there was the beef. If you guys don't have me on Twitter, you can follow me on Twitter. It's at VegasFinds 777. And let me find. I don't even have no preparation here because I'm just making this on the fly. Either way, long story short, Nurkic had some comments about Embiid in 2017. Said he looked tired, just like a tired big man. Said he cared more about fame than he did basketball. And I think, again, when you're looking at information, it's interesting to find these little tidbits that, you know, I certainly didn't have much exposure to, and you know, you probably didn't either. So it's, you know, it's cool to find these little tidbits here and there as you do your research. So as far as the Yusuf Nurkic thing, the only other thing I'll say about him is that his cards have actually gone off the charts. I mean, they're at like 35 to 40 for the Prism right now, and as of right now, there's only 24. I looked up the pop report finally. There's only 24 PSA 10s in the 2014 base Prism. I have 2 of them. I was going to put one up for a few hundred, but I'm probably going to maybe jack it up to like 500, see if I get any bites, any offers, something like that. I'm not really sure. All I know is that it's the heat of the moment. I'm probably going to end up keeping one of them, but I mean, who knows what that could be. I mean, I'm looking at the page right now. I mean, I could bring you guys over here. And, you know, we're seeing $24.99. That's the cheapest you're going to get, $27, you know, a couple of those, and then boom, you're already after tax up to the $40 range. And again, there's no PSA 10s up here. They're just desolate. But by comparison, the select rookie has gone up. I told you guys before about the hoops rookie. Nurkic is just having a breakout monster scenario. People are just, they're, you know, he could play another 10 years in the league, and he's an absolute monster. He's aggressive, you know, that's very good. And he's passionate. He's got heart, just like the Trailblazers. They function like that. So I'm trying to tell you guys right now, there's not that many of these left. I told you the other day about a deal right here. They're, you know, $5 now. You could still go through some of these Picca whatevers and find these, you know, cheap one for $3 here. But you could get these Nurkic hoops rookies for like $2. It's not going to last, man. People are going to turn somewhere from Prism. It's going to be select. That's already at $25. There's no reason for hoops to only be like $2 or $3. It's not going to be. It's going to be a $12 card or whatever, and the PSAs are probably going to be $150 or something like that. So it's time for you to grab that shit if you haven't. But that wasn't the main reason why we were talking here. So Embiid, that's the first thing. One specific thing about Embiid that I find to be interesting, let me get you back over here, is that his 2014 Prism PSA 10 is selling for about $400. You can get the raw card for about $75. Now, in the case of the short print variation that I've been telling you guys about those are only selling for $200 in a PSA 10. The market's confused. It doesn't know. It's because attention is driven on the base Prism card. Attention hasn't gone, whoa, short prints, whoa, variations. This is rarer. There's less of them, and it's a PSA 10 for half the price because of demand. And they don't realize supply yet because they're not at that point. So we're going to get there. in the future, that could definitely flip-flop. Another main reason why I wanted to talk to you guys is the schedule for Michael Porter Jr. is nuts. Like I said, if you could get any other Michael Porter Jr.'s at a good price, you better do it. Right now, his hoops cards are like $10, $12 and climbing. If you don't have any, just go and spend $50. Grab 4 hoops cards. Go grab a couple of selects for $35 plus tax. I mean, the damn... It's like $75 for the Prism now. It's at the same price as the Embiid rookie. But here's the rub. The Michael Porter Jr. schedule is crazy because whenever we're looking at, researching, whatever else, we're basically doing predictive analysis. We're making predictive assumptions about what's going to happen. So we have to look ahead and we have to look behind, ahead, behind, whatever. It's not a dragon. I got my notes right here for you guys, my notes. And this says, are you listening to me? MP Jr., Michael Porter Jr., fast-paced games, all right? First of all, the Jazz is in the middle. That's not a big deal. His other next 2 matchups out of 3, the Blazers, we know that's important. We know they play a fast-paced game. He's very likely to put up a big line there. But the most important one in a couple of days here, they're going to be playing against the Lakers. Let me tell you what, Bol to a lesser extent, but definitely Michael Porter Jr. If Bol gets 10 minutes and does anything fancy, his cards are still going to go up another 10% or 15% or whatever. And if he has any bit of a good game, they put him in for 15 minutes or something. God forbid he hits a couple of shiny threes, probably 20-30% increase in his card value. Michael Porter Jr., however, if he puts up a good game against the Blazers, doesn't stink it out against the Jazz, he's not, dealing with Gobert in his face necessarily. The Lakers, obviously he's not going to do as well because he's big on rebounding, and Gobert is just going to eat up a lot of that glass. But against the Lakers, if Michael Porter Jr. puts up a good game or even a decent game, and I believe he will because he's hungry, he's got fight, and he's on the big stage against LeBron near the playoffs, where else do you throw your passion if you're a professional basketball player fresh to the league? You want to be impressive there, and he's already impressive. He's hungry. He's like a bulldog mentality type guy. So, you really got to get him, and you got to get him now, and that is what I'm feeling. That is my emotional FOMO, whatever you want to call it. But if he goes off against the Blazers and then they get to the Lakers, man, I'm telling you, that's the biggest stage. More people are going to be watching. More people are going to be exposed. More people will buy. And if that's the case, then you want to be the one having those cards, the prisms, the optics. You can get the optic for like $35. You can get select for like $35. I take optic over select. Just by rate of popularity. And the last thing here, real quick, is Harden and Westbrook versus the Lakers tonight. That's why I wanted to get this video out early, because I wanted to tell you guys about that Embiid-Nurkic beef, because that might certainly drive both of them. If they both have a monster game, and Embiid's cards, same thing here. Nurkic cards are already on the way up there. So Embiid's cards are pretty expensive. What I did is I found a guy who had 17 copies of the Hoops rookie for $10 a piece. So I bought all those because generally they go for about 15 plus. And after tonight's game, they're probably going to be $20, $25 cards, provided that, he does well. And again, remember, they're also going to be playing against the Suns and the Magic. So if Ben Simmons doesn't play in all 3 games, Embiid is going to have monster games, especially against the Blazers, and him and Nurkic already have beef. That's a storyline enough for me to invest some money into Embiid, who is a guy that we didn't have that much invested into previously. I also spent $20 on a gold Hoops rookie in mint condition, so that looked good. As far as Harden and Westbrook go versus the Lakers, the Rockets have won against the Bucks, then they lost a tough one against the Blazers. We are looking at the Lakers. Now, Westbrook supposedly has a bruised calf or a knee bruise or some sort of a bruise on his body, and he's questionable. If Westbrook goes and he plays, I'm probably going to be investing in Westbrook cards tonight right at the start, because I don't want to invest if he doesn't go, because his cards will stay or they'll go down a little bit. I'll have a better opportunity in the future. But if his cards start to go up because he's playing tonight, it's going to be very, very lucrative to be the guy that's got some Westbrook cards, because you got to think, if Westbrook and Harden, if the Rockets beat the Lakers, that's going to be a statement. If it's a close game, and the Lakers are probably going to want to come back and be competitive in this game because they've been kind of sloppy. You know what I mean? So I'm looking for. I mean, Harden's cards are already crazy. We have about 10 Harden rookie cards from Topps and Bowman 2009. Most of those I bought in the $75 range raw. I've got a bunch of them at PSA, and now they're like $300 raw or 225 or whatever. I mean, they're going between 225 and 300 raw, which is an insane increase, and it makes sense because Harden's one of the best scorers of all time. But as far as Westbrook goes, when you look at all the big players, the guys that you're going to remember after their career is over, you're going to look at guys like LeBron James, Steph Curry, James Harden, Kevin Durant. Westbrook's in that conversation. He's down here somewhere, but he's there, and he's not going anywhere. He's a little sloppier than the rest of them, but he's still a fantastic elite basketball player, and his cards compared to the rest of those big names are not as expensive. You can get his Bowman and his Topps rookie cards for in the $30 range. The Bowman tends to be closer to 40 or 45, but nonetheless, versus the others, not a thing. But if Westbrook and Harden beat the Lakers after beating the Bucks, chances are their odds for winning the championship will go up. People will start to turn a little bit like, wait a minute, what if these Rockets win? Because if you guys have noticed, a lot of what people are doing is they're investing bigger amounts of money into teams they think and the stars on those teams that will win the championship. Because whoever wins the championship this year, the first year of the bubble, the COVID, it's like a reinvention of time and space. It's insane. That is going to be historic. And that's one thing that I'm talking about with my friends. We're talking about, what about, the bubble burst? You got all this money going on in the sports cards, and how's this going to change in the future? You got to think about it like this. This year, this whole COVID thing, the sports card market is so hot because it's an escape from what's going on. You know what I mean? And when you look back in 15 or 25 years and you're old and you're gray and you're dying on your deathbed and you're telling your grandkids, you're going to have that James Harden rookie. You're going to have that Giannis and be like, man, back in the COVID pandemic era, this is what was going on. And one of my only escapes, one of my only places of mental peace and tranquility was being able to watch professional sports. Movies are dumb. They're all fake. Reality shows are dumb. They're all fake. But the sports, not wrestling. I mean, you throw somebody on the whatever. You guys know what I'm saying. Unless it's that Sid Vicious in the 80s where he slapped the reporter, go look it up. Awesome. This stuff is relevant, and it's going to be relevant then. And they're going to look back, and they're going to be like, man, I didn't get rid of this card because it was more important than just a card. It wasn't just something they had. It was something that they were emotionally connected to because of everything that was going on around them, between racial justice finally being fought for at a high level, and also the COVID pandemic and everything that's going on with politics and all this crazy shit that just hasn't been here in before. So it's a cultural thing that is going to last, in my opinion, and I think that is a reason why, even if the collectible market as far as sports cards go, if it cools off, it's not going to disappear because it means more than just the cards, you know what I mean? And that's why it's going to have lasting value. So that's it for me for today, guys. Just wanted to give you a quick update. Get your Joel Embiid's. Again, those Hoops rookies are probably the cheapest ones. You can maybe take a couple shots at that SP short print. Honestly, if those stay at $200, I'm probably going to grab a couple. There's no reason not to. They should be worth more than the base prism. They're silver prisms and they're short printed. McFly, you know what I mean? It doesn't take BIP to figure it out, or Biff, or whatever the hell that guy's with the cane, Michael Porter Jr., to lesser extent Bol, playing against the Blazers, playing against the Lakers, his next 2 out of 3 games with the games he's put up. Just get whatever you can, just run up to the table. I don't care if you got to punch somebody in the face, just grab it. Just grab their Michael Porter Jr. rookies. No, don't do that. But you guys know what I'm saying. And to a lesser extent, Harden and Westbrook. Harden's cards are kind of out of reach. Westbrook's cards are definitely cheap if he goes. If they beat the Lakers, watch it. If it's a really competitive game, if it's down to the wire, Westbrook's cards are cheaper than every other big stars, and that could change in a moment. The moment people feel that the Rockets have a good chance also of winning, or a better chance, or that the Lakers have some false grooves in their armor, whatever you want to call it, it's time, guys. So that's all I got for you today, and be glad I got you that. I hope you watch this. I hope you capitalize. I'll catch you guys on the flip side.